Hello and welcome to DataSunrise demo. In this demo, we will talk about DataSunrise dynamic masking, specifically in views, stored procedures, and functions. Well, since we are talking about dynamic data masking, DataSunrise should use the proxy mode. Well, the proxy mode should be enabled in DataSunrise for the protected database instance. And in my example, this is a PostgreSQL running on my virtual machine. And DataSunrise exposed this port 5433, right? And my applications will be connecting through this port and through DataSunrise to the database instance. And DataSunrise does not turn on initially this capability to mask inside of stored procedures, views, and functions. Well, I'll show you how you can configure that, right? And if we will go to the system settings of DataSunrise Web UI, in additional parameters, we'll search for DDL, so-called name, and we'll see here the use metadata view DDL, use metadata function DDL, right? So when we will see that to show only, well, the ones that have been changed, right? Here, right? We'll see that these options are enabled. By default, they are disabled. Well, these options should be turned on, and then we'll be able to mask dynamically all queries and query results inside of stored procedures and functions. Okay, this is step number one, right? First, the proxy mode should be enabled, and these options should be enabled as well under system settings and additional parameters. So we know that DataSunrise already is in the proxy mode. Well, how we can configure some rules under masking, we can find dynamic masking rules. And there are two rules which I have enabled. This one is for the card column masking, right? For the card to mask the credit card in my customers with the credit card masking method. Well, please pay attention that I've checked in these options, right? These check-in boxes, right? And they both enable. I enable the rule, and my customers table should be masked, right, with the card column, with the credit card masking. Another thing is that there's another rule for another piece of data. In my customers, we have email, right, and the customer's password is a foreign key, and there is another email, right? So I'm going to process them together, but instead of using default method or some obfuscation method, I will use a function call. This means that I have to pick up a function from my database instance, which my DBA team created, and this email will go there as a parameter to invent some fake name in the user part of the email. And please pay attention again. There are two option boxes. I check them in, right? So they both enable, and I have to enable the rule and save it. Now I have two rules enabled. How to test? Okay, I have to connect to the database instance through DataSunrise IP address and port number. Right? So now there is my DB application. I'm going to use these objects created in my PostgreSQL database instance. And let's look inside of the body of each of these objects created in my database instance. On the test, so schema is public, we can drill down to the view. So probably you will notice that there are two objects actually. One of them is a view I've created. It will generate a view. It will be the view that affects my card and email. Right. But this one is created by DataSunrise as a replacement to call instead of my user-defined function or view, right? In this case, this is a view. Now let's look inside of the function. The function created originally is get customers. So let's look inside of the DDL statement, and we see the card is affected and email is affected, right? And there is another copy of this function created by DataSunrise which actually be called instead of my original function. Well, how it will work? Let's see. Let's go back here to my view and execute this select statement, which will try to call my view, and the view is affects my two columns, right? And instead of that, DataSunrise will substitute that view with the view created by DataSunrise. Now we see the credit card is different, right? So first 12 digits are masked, and the email column actually is a function call. So instead of providing me a first name or last name of my customers, it provides me with some fancy names, right? So fake names of my user recipients. Now, what will happen if I'll try to select statement, use the select statement from my user-defined function? Well, the same. I will see that DataSunrise detected that we are going to call some function, and DataSunrise provided us with another function replacement, right? And call that, and we see the card is masked, and the email is also masked. This way, by checking in some parameters in DataSunrise, we can use our user-defined functions and views, and DataSunrise provides us with dynamic masking. Thank you for watching.